Grammy Snubs Ghana. That is probably going to be the thumbnail title I'll use in this video because that is the sentiment I am feeling on social media. A lot of people are trolling Ghanaian artists because, once again, Ghanaian artists have missed out on Grammy nominations. I'm not here to troll Ghanaian artists. I love Ghanaian artists. But I'm here to shine some light on why it looks like Ghana is not able to make big splashes on the world stage in terms of the music business. I'll break it down for you. My name is Tony. I'm a Ghanaian writer who lives in the US. I wrote a book about the entertainment industry in Ghana. This book was based on my about 20 years work experience in Ghana. Yes, I started working in entertainment when I was 11 years old, and I did that till I left Ghana and moved to the US. So 20 years, don't let it scare you. And so in the US, I've also worked in the media. I work at NPR and other media houses in the US. So I know my stuff. That's what I'm saying. So let's get right into it. I was expecting that Moliy, Stonebowy, Black Sherif, Manifest, or Shatta Wale, one of those five names will appear in the Grammy nomination this year, and all five of them missed out for different reasons. But I'll say this, Grammy nomination is not a certificate of talent. Nas started rapping and dominating hip hop since 1994. Nas got his first Grammy Award in 2021. So, will you say Nas wasn't dominating hip hop for 30 years because he didn't have a Grammy? No. But Grammy is a statement of your footprint in the US music ecosystem, especially the pop system. So, Ghana not getting nominations at the Grammy is a statement that Ghana is not penetrating the right angles it needs to penetrate when it comes to the US music ecosystem. And I'll break it all down for you, but I'll start with a story. When my sister was like 7 years old, she was sitting next to me and my brother, and me and my brother were having a conversation about, music. And at that time, I think this was in 2015, Sarkodie had put out a song with Castro. And Sarkodie had made some, affirmations, or what's the name? What do people say these days? Yeah. Was trying to will a Grammy for himself. He was rapping about wanting to win a Grammy, right? And my brother asked me, Tony, has Sarkodie ever won a Grammy? I said, no. Do you think Sarkodie can win a Grammy? And I said, yes. If Sarkodie does a song with an American or a musician Americans like, he will win a Grammy or can win a Grammy. And I said, example, someone like John Legend. And my sister started singing, what would I do without your smart mouth? Huh? What else? So basically, my sister was singing John Legend's song and adding Sarkodie's ad-lib. Funny. But that is a serious statement, right? That in order to penetrate into the pop ecosystem in America, you need a cosign. A cosign that people in the Grammy ecosystem respect or know. So this year, Burna Boy got another Grammy nomination. He's nominated in the Best Global Music Album category. And he's the only Afrobeat artist recorded or nominated in that category. Burna Boy's album wasn't well received by the fans. But why does it get a Grammy nomination? Burna Boy's name is locked in the minds of Grammy Academy members. Yeah. So Burna Boy's first album to get a Grammy nomination was the African Giant album. He had Angelique Kidjo in the album. He had Damian Marley on the album, and he didn't win. And Burna Boy said, after missing out on that win, Angelique Kidjo came to him and told him how to win a Grammy. So if you remember, the album Burna Boy put out that won the Grammy, it was executive produced by P. Diddy, who is now in jail. And he had Angelique Kidjo on it again. He had Coldplay on the album. Coldplay on the album is very important because white people love Coldplay. White people even take their wives, their side chicks to cheat at Coldplay concerts. So Burna Boy's collaboration with Coldplay and his continuous relationship with Coldplay, I believe, has helped Burna Boy in terms of how he's perceived in the Grammy world. Somebody the Grammy knows, loves, and respects gave Burna Boy a cosign, right? The other Ghanaian who has a huge number of Grammy nominations, 3 nominations, is Rocky Dawuni. Rocky Dawuni lives and works in Los Angeles, right? I believe there was a time Rocky Dawuni's album, he recorded it in Malibu in the same studio Rick Rubin records his albums, right? So if you have access to people like Rick Rubin, it's not surprising to see your name in 3 different times, Grammy nominations. My point I'm making is this. Winning a Grammy is about one thing and one thing only: relationships. I don't know if Ghanaian artists are building right industry relationships if winning Grammy is something that's important to them. Even if you are not thinking about winning a Grammy and you are thinking about having stadium shows in the US, because the US is still the biggest music market in the world, you need certain cosigns. Unfortunately for me, I'm not seeing the Ghanaian artists get the type of cosigns they need to win a Grammy. I'm not seeing it. You can have a song with whoever artist you can think about. There are a few artists who Ghanaian artists have collaborated with. Ace Hood. Ace Hood have never won a Grammy himself. So Ace Hood co-sign for you is not that important to winning a Grammy. Or the lady, I can't remember her name. Her name starts with a K. Kerry Hilson. Kerry Hilson co-sign will not get you a Grammy because she herself is not in that world. The fact that she's a huge American superstar doesn't necessarily put her in the Grammy world, right? My thing is, I believe that while Ghanaians are making huge waves and good music, we are missing out on the most important thing when it comes to making waves globally, and that is building relationships. I've been thinking about this for some time now. I've been thinking about whether I should go into artist management in the US. I used to be in artist management in Ghana because I'm beginning to see where the loopholes are and how I can help Ghanaian artists, navigate or enter those holes. Let me know if you think that's something I should consider. Anyway, so relationships, period, is the reason Ghanaian artists are not winning Grammys. I'll give you facts to back this. There are 3 Ghanaians who have had Grammy certification, which means that they worked on an album or with an artist that won a Grammy. The first Ghanaian to get Grammy certification is Killbeat. Killbeat was on the Divide album by Ed Sheeran. He wrote and produced a Chi song for Ed Sheeran. And Ed Sheeran became the first person to win a Grammy singing in the Ghanaian language. And Killbeat got a certification for being on that album, right? Then that was in 2018. 2020, Beyonce's album had MOG Beats and Fuse ODG as, contributors to the album. So they also got Grammy certification. So Ghanaians who have come close to Grammy wins did that on the back of their relationships in the industry, which is why if you're a Ghanaian, right, and you want to win a Grammy, there is something I wrote in this book, right? I interviewed Goodies about how he was able to dominate the Nigerian market as a Ghanaian with VIP, Mace Bell. Nigerians know this song by Mace Bell so much, 16 years, and they know Ahonkawon by VIP. And I asked Goodies how he did that, and he told me that he moved to Nigeria and stayed there for 3 months. The time he was there, he built relationships, and those relationships led to his wins. Ghanaian artists need to start doing this. Think about this. I'll give you an assignment if you're an artist. Who is Tyler's manager in the US? What is the credential of Tyler's manager in the US? Find out. Who is Tems' manager in the US? What is the credential of Tems' manager in the US? Who is Burna Boy's record label in the US? What is the credential of Burna Boy's record label in the US? Those three things, finding out who is behind Tyla, Tems, and Burna Boy will give you key to figuring out how to not be snubbed in the Grammys. You know, I was really, really hoping that Moliy would have been nominated for this year's Grammy because her music really dominated the Afrobeat charts in the US earlier this year. And, you know, she had a fascinating story. She was one of the very few artists in the world who was able to utilize TikTok to generate virality and use that virality to generate charting positions. So I have learned for Moliy to have been nominated for a Grammy, but she was not. But now she has a song with Tyla. Hopefully that song gets her somewhere next year. Congratulations to everybody in the world who was nominated for a Grammy. And I know if Ghanaians listen to what I'm saying, we can do it next year. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you are interested in geopolitics and trade related issues.